What do you see, old sport?
Bloody big
Oh dear. Not a fan of our darling TGV?
You must be joking.
I mean, he was the first. The best watch channel that ever was or will be. And after all, he has moi.
Oh, so why do you need me?
How about a cameo for your old boy Hugo? We could call it Quantum of Hugo. Or, perhaps Hugo Royale.
Excuse me?
Bondi, baby, wait. I'll do you a deal. You get me this part, and I'll get you that Patek you've had your stoic little eyes on. You know you want it. Okay, hi guys, and welcome to a James Bond special show. Because of course, the new movie, No Time to Die, is about to be released here in the United States. It's already been released to quite positive reviews in certain parts of the world. Now, I'll do the first of two wristwatch checks because this is a pre-recorded video. Not this part. Well, it is all pre-recorded. What am I saying? No, it's a part two, I could say, to a video I recorded with Phil, extremely talented writer and editor. I'll leave a link there. Do have a look back. It was fascinating seeing some of his pieces, so do enjoy. And he's back today, well, we recorded it on the same day, to discuss some Bond watches. Of course, why not? Naturally, right? My first wristwatch check is the Explorer, the real James Bond watch. Watch all the Amiga fans just, stop watching, sorry. It's on the SOE Strap I co-designed with Wrist Candy Watch Club. I'll leave a link down below, and of course, extremely fitting, if you know what SOE is, to today's topic. So far, so good with the reaction to the new movie, but what really piqued my interest is another friend of the channel, the legendary Duncan Casey, of course. He shared a quick reaction. I'll play some of that for you now, and it's really got me intrigued.
I can't say too much without really ruining anything, but it's been probably the first Bond film that's really hit me. It's left me quite emotional actually afterwards, and there's a lot of allegorical commentary. The action is fantastic. That you won't be disappointed. It's a really a cracking film. It's just a cracking film. I think they've really knocked it out of the park with this. It's gonna hit you. I think it's gonna hit you.
So do check out Valverde. I'll leave a link to them as well in the description. But without further ado, let's get into some James Bond watch talk. Quick kind of summary. Editor-in-chief of FANGORIA magazine. Yeah, I'm getting it right. There we go.
There it is.
Like I don't know this stuff. Bond. Would you say Bond expert or Bond?
No.
Bond enthusiast?
Someone is always a better expert than you, and they don't like when they call you an expert.
Right.
I like enthusiast for so many of the stuff. Movie enthusiast.
Me too.
Watch enthusiast. Bond enthusiast.
Me too.
I'm just an enthusiast.
Nice.
I'm enthused.
Yeah, I like it. That's very fitting with the channel. I'm the same way about watches. So we're gonna pretend that. Actually, should we do wristwatch check? Because technically it's the second video, isn't it?
Why not?
Mission Impossible Casio D290. I actually remember the reference number.
Nice.
What are
you
you
we
wearing?
announcing it by movie title? No Time to Die. Seamaster. I hear it's a great movie.
So the idea of this is, by the time I post this, hopefully the film will be coming out. No. Let's pretend that Amiga no longer want to have anything to do with the franchise.
What would it take for them to do that, you think?
God, yeah. Comment down below. What controversy would cause Amiga to go, no. I'm trying to think of something, but it'd be so terrible.
Horrible
the whole
Yeah.
I've got so many ideas.
They'd shake loose half their fan base before Omega's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so Omega's pulled out. We're going to pick 3 alternative brands each, right? And guys, do share your picks in the comments. I'd love to, and reasons why. I think this is the most interesting part.
And tell us why we're wrong. That's the really important part of any comment section.
You can tell him why he's
Yes.
wrong.
Yes.
No, honestly, I don't mind. That's something you do learn about being on YouTube.
Get a thick
It's
skin.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm always wrong. Always, everything's wrong.
I will not look at these comments. Full stop. God bless you.
So tell me, what's your first pick?
My first pick. So all my picks are informed by a certain hunch that I have that the Bond franchise is going to be moving toward accessibility. Sort of like middle of the road aspirational. They're not going to go for these high end brands as much, so much, I think. And I see that in the clothing choices. I see that in like, oh, they're dressing him in J. Crew shoes, and he's wearing a Levi jacket.
Drinking Heineken.
The Heineken of it all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think you're going to see, is it a derisive term to say mall watch?
No,
Is that a thing?
if it's sold predominantly in a mall, then it's a mall watch.
Because I think you're going to see those brands that are kind of not cheap, but the ones that you see in Macy's and whatnot. And I think
There are respectable brands there.
yeah. But I just think they're a little more accessible in terms of.
So you're thinking like Hamilton?
That's my first pick, actually.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I think it's Hamilton because I think it's Hamilton's got that whole tactical line. Hamilton loves being in movies. I think we've learned that over the last couple of years.
Over 400, yeah.
Yes, so they're an easy lay, I think.
Yeah.
Is that okay to say? Love Hamilton. I think
They're
that,
an easy lay.
Yes.
That's their new branding.
Hamilton would murder their own children to be in the Bond franchise. Is that fair to say? I mean,
Yeah, I think any brand would, yeah.
and I think it's a masculine brand that lends itself to this sort of genre.
Also, it's strangely within universe because didn't Jeffrey Wright, who played, oh God,
Felix,
yes, thank you. He wore Hamilton,
he did.
and didn't Bond himself wore Pulsar?
The beginning of Live and Let Die.
Right, yes.
So there's heritage.
Yeah.
There's precedent. And it's been interesting to watch the last few years because everybody's wrist just sort of rolled over to Omega.
Right.
Moneypenny. Jeffrey Wright's new one. He's wearing a Speedmaster. His coworkers wearing the same Speedmaster. So Omega's gotten in there.
In there, yeah.
But we know that Hamilton is a willing partner, and I think it kind of fits. If Bond moves away from the sort of elite glam kind of thing and moves into a little more tactical, rolling up his sleeves and getting his hands dirty, I don't know that they're going to do that. You know, I don't know what direction.
What is your favorite Bond?
You asked me my favorite on the last video. I got to tell you, it changes all the time.
Yeah, the thing is that I'm asking you that now because, you know, Craig was brought in obviously because he's a more physical actor. He burst through walls, you know, where you wouldn't see Roger Moore doing that.
No.
You know, he's more witty one-liners and kind of charm and
Right.
you know, sexual innuendo, and there's none of the comedy with Daniel Craig.
Yeah, and I think that they have to, if they don't want to sabotage their own franchise, they can't copy Daniel Craig. They have to pivot. And then it's just a matter of what direction do they pivot in. And it might be into more of a sort of a dandy-ish kind of eyebrow raising, not getting his hands dirty kind of move.
Sheer magnetism, guy.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna go. My first pick is complete opposite. I want to return. I've been rewatching all the Roger Moores for some reason. My wife's never seen them. She really liked them, and I thought she was gonna think it's silly. I thought she was not gonna appreciate it. But then comparing to Dalton and Daniel Craig, she just doesn't like them. And it was strange. It was the humor. It was the kind of ridiculousness. Is that a word?
Ridiculousness?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Well done.
Thank you. The utter I don't want to say. Well, it is comedic. You know, there's no comedy in it now, and I want to return to the more sophisticated. Okay, long and the short of it, JLC. Okay, suave, old world, the watchmaker's watchmaker. They have some ridiculous tool watches. That they had the compressor, the super compressor made for the Navy SEALs. But I'm not going to pick that. I'm going to go with the Reverso. Classic 1930s dress watch, right? But it was started as a sports watch. I thought, why not have a gadget where you flip it over? Some kind of GPS.
Lends itself to that.
Yeah. Why not bring back the suaveness? And Sean Connery wore a Gruen before he wore anything else, right? The very first one. So
Yeah.
I want to see the glam. I want to see the aspirational. I don't look at Bond as like drinking Heineken. For me, it felt completely wrong.
Yeah. I don't disagree. But if it's about prediction versus what we want to see, I think Bond.
Oh, you're right.
I think
Then
Bond's going to become more blue collar. Weirdly.
Right.
If they keep going down that road.
I totally agree. Yeah.
Where did I see JLC? Was it in Doctor Strange?
Yes. Yeah.
He had a nice one.
Benedict Cumber. I was about to say Cumber. Benedict Cumberbatch, right? He's an ambassador for.
It's a nice gig if you can get it.
Yeah. JLC, if you're listening, I'm totally available.
I mean, you convinced me with the whole Reverso thing. See, a watch that doesn't have a gadget shoehorned in, but that lends itself to gadgetry is interesting.
Right.
So I think I like your choice.
I like the idea of it looking dressy, but actually it's really tough. You know, so it's kind of, because I think that's what, it's too obvious now, Bond. He's like this Hulk of a man. Like, I don't know. I think I'm just getting nostalgic. The older I get, the more I prefer the older ones.
But Moore didn't just trade in that space either. He had some workman-like watches, which is where my second choice is coming from.
Nice segue.
You like that?
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah.
Is Seiko.
Right.
I think Seiko
Of course.
makes a whole lot of sense in this space. But Seiko could even go in the direction you're talking about. He could be wearing a Grand Seiko,
yeah.
which would be, you get the elegance. See, now, if I'm Seiko, or if I'm the guy in charge of trying to get Seiko in the Bond movies, I hit him with a 1-2. I go Grand Seiko for the tuxedo.
Yeah.
And then you got some, like, stupid G-Shock looking
right.
tool watch for when he's underwater. Like,
That's beautiful. I love that.
And you got that Roger Moore
Connection, yeah. You know what? I think you hit on a really good point because it's obvious. Okay, you said at the beginning, Omega everywhere in the Bond universe. It's like the only watch brand that exists, right? But it also established that Daniel Craig is obviously a watch guy. Well, no, I mean, his Bond is obviously a watch guy because he has an Aquaterra for more dressy, then he has a Planet Ocean, and he has this, that, and the other. So why not have multiple watches? Why not have a Seiko tuner, the latest one, which I think he did have, Roger Moore, at some point. There was a Seiko tuner? Or?
Is it similar to the one that, so it's a deleted scene. You need Calvin Dyson for this stuff, but where he, after he gets arrested for crashing into the boat in view to a kill, he's getting bailed out and they're giving him his effects back, and there's a Seiko, it's a tune-up, but it's got a garrote in it.
Oh, why did they cut that out?
It's a bummer.
Yeah. I like that. Okay, my next one. Okay, if we're gonna go blue collar, I don't really like that phrase, but it's
Every man.
Every man, right? Every man. Perfect. Thank you. Marathon. Are you familiar with?
I don't
Marathon?
know this one.
Okay, so they're a Canadian company, founded in 1904, I think. I might be wrong. They've been in the same family for 3 generations. They started as the Wine and Co, Wine Brothers or something like that, making clocks, obviously, at the turn of the century. And they supply watches to the US military, the US government, Israeli Defense Forces, Canadian Army, and various like special units all over the place. They only make military. For the civilian market, you can have them sterile dial, you can have US government on them, and they are just the most ridiculous, serious, utilitarian, like, they're so tough, you could just hit somebody to death with it, and it would still,
Which Bond has done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, nice. Stylistically, they don't work. But if we've established he's a multi-watch guy, maybe he could have one of those for action, The only thing, it doesn't work with the tux. It looks ridiculous. If you were wearing a tux, you'd put on a dress watch, right?
I would at least have a bracelet on it. I wouldn't have a nylon strap.
I agree. I tend to. It's funny because everyone says I put a NATO strap on everything, and I kind of do. But when I dress up, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. I got to show you some Marathon watches.
Yes.
Amazing brand and very affordable. Like they got quartz for a couple of hundred, and then they go up to 1,000 and beyond for their higher end stuff.
What country?
They're Canadian.
Canadian.
But Swiss made.
Interesting.
So their factory are in Switzerland. And they're serious watches. They got the lume is like gas tubes, tritium gas tubes.
Oh.
They last for 25 years. They're always on.
And they don't give you cancer?
They're just, yeah, I know, right? They're just radioactive enough to work, but not enough to hurt you.
All right.
You look horrified.
I mean, yeah, I'm nervous now, but
No,
I'll look at them from across the room.
Trust me,
That'll be fun.
they are serious watches.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay, I
you'd
wanna see
appreciate them. They're. We were talking in another conversation about brand heritage, right? They're so you feel the sincerity, you feel the authenticity. That's a better word.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, your next pick.
My next pick is a boring one because you're coming up with all these great, sort of unexpected ones. But
no, I think.
But relating back to my earlier video, is that I went with another one that again is super into product placement when they can do it.
Right.
But I think, and again, I went for like what could happen. I went for likely scenarios versus wish list. So I went Tag.
Oh wow! Okay.
I think Tag again. It's 10 degrees away from the aspirational Omega into the everyman territory, but it's still very much a tactical brand that has been on his wrist before. Which I like. I like that about it. But I don't really have a better reason than that. I just think that like if I read that in the trades a month after hearing that Omega bailed because of the horrible sex scandal that we talked about earlier, that I think Tag is a likely candidate.
Is there any particular model?
Only because I don't know the current lineup of Tag that well, so I couldn't say.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say.
But you'd go dive, I would presume?
I think it's a dive watch. He's still in my head a Navy man, no matter what the current bio is. And I think it would be a dive watch.
Nice. Guys, your nominations. I think we talked about this, the Aqua Racer.
Aqua Racer.
Because it does share lineage with the Tag Heuer 1000 that Dalton wore. So I think it's a continuation. It's not a direct reissue, but it is undoubtedly inspired. It's like the ancestor, you could say.
So now that you say that, I just want to add that like what I'm naming, I'm talking about a narrative. I'm talking about the decision. I'm not talking about the specific models because I think the Tag Aqua Racer looks like the current Omega Seamaster, and I don't like either one of them.
Interesting.
So I would want to see them come up with something worthy of his wrist.
Right.
But the narrative of that brand getting in bed with the franchise is sort of what I could predict happening.
So you'd think they'd design something from scratch?
I think they should. I think that would be the smart move.
Cool. That is an interesting,
Or at least something that clicks over. At least something that's like got a basis in history and then does something a little different.
Okay, I'm gonna throw in a little bonus.
Okay.
And you're not prepared for this.
Nope.
But
what else is new?
an item of clothing, a brand.
A brand of clothing.
Could be anything. Could be shoes. Could be bags. It could be glasses. It could be shirts.
God, he's such a clothes horse now that it's hard to sort of like say what's missing. Like, what are they not getting right in terms of like the casual wear and all this other stuff? But
do you like where aesthetically his styles?
I think he peaked. I don't like what I've seen in the new film.
Me neither.
In terms of the casual wear.
Me neither.
I think it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and I think it's not something that is replicated by the everyman, let's say.
Yeah.
Maybe it shouldn't be. I mean, maybe no one else should look like that.
That's a good point. When did it peak, do you think?
I think that Skyfall was still pulling it off pretty well. I liked what was happening in there in terms of the casual wear.
Suits.
I know the suits people said are dating quickly because they were a little too tight, a little too form-fitting, but that's not my complete area of expertise. I'll say that the casual looks really worked for, again, the narrative of what was happening.
Is there a brand that you're fond of that you've kind of looked at and thought, I could see Bond wearing that, or Bond using that, because it happens to me a lot.
Yeah?
That's
What's
why
yours?
it's this British company called Private White VC. And It's named after a private white who earned Victoria Cross in World War One, and I know it through. They contacted me because I also have an ancestor that posthumously a VC. So they contacted me, and then they saw what I did, and we talked and stuff, and I ended up actually buying a lot of their clothes. It's very high end, very expensive, but amazing real world connection to. They use, for example, in the raincoat that I bought from them, they got it's ventile or ventile. You see the eye thing happening again. It's this material invented by the IRF, that doesn't exist. IRA, no, the RAF, the Royal Air Force, for their pilots in World War II on bequest of Churchill, and it's very waterproof. But it's a high, woven in Manchester, made in England. The style of it, it's expensive. It looks expensive, but without branding, it's just very subtle. It's very classic British.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
But to piggyback onto that,
Yeah.
I will say it would be cool to see him in more British brands. And there were some, but again,
Yeah, because Fleming was such a brand whore. He was he was very specific.
Yeah, and I just finished reading Peter Brooker and Matt Spacer's book, From Tailors with Love, where they trace the whole history of what Bond is wearing in every film. And I didn't know the whole story about Roger Moore was wearing British tailoring until he became a tax exile, and suddenly he had an Italian tailor because he wasn't going to England. I was like, that stuff blew my mind, and the way that those things shaped what we end up seeing in the films was really interesting to me.
Yeah.
So Craig has famously had a heavy hand in deciding what he's going to wear in the films and whatnot. So once we're free of that, I'm curious to see what they do. But I do think it would be a shame to not return Bond to some British tailoring.
I agree. Some classic Savile Row style. It would also be a lot of German street brands, like Dunhill. Like I love Floris, obviously, and who else? There's the Lob's shoes. There's Loke's shoes. There's
Turnbull and Asser, the shirt maker.
Yeah.
And they haven't really gone away. I think he was wearing those shoes in Casino Royale, and he was wearing a Turnbull and Asser shirt in Casino Royale with his tuxedo. But that was it. After that, once the Tom Ford era started, then it's.
Yeah, I think you're right. More British brands, which actually is in line with what I was private. I'll show you.
Okay.
Great stuff.
Excellent.
Anyway, we're talking.
Sidebar.
Yeah, we're not focusing on watches, but anyway, guys, do share your picks. What brand would you like to see Bond wearing, and why, in the comments below. Thank you so much for. We're pretending like you.
Like I left and came back.
Yeah. Don't forget to like this video, and we will catch you in the next one. Okay. Thank you for watching. Ciao.